some more.
Yo, what's good, people? Izzy Max here, back again with another MDL match. This is week 7, I do believe, and today I'm fighting Nin. He has a very scary team with the Virizion and the Weavile, also with Clefable, Inteleon, the newly picked up Morpeko, and the Galarian Weezing. This week I am bringing a Scarf Terrakion, a Yache Berry Dragapult, Clefairy, Primarina, Choppleberry Perrserker finally back on the team in a Focus Sash Serena. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I am going to lead the Scarf Terrakion and the Dragapult, trying to bait out anything to do with beat up. I am expecting him to lead Weavile Virizion, which he doesn't end up doing, but I figured this was a kind of a catch-all lead. We will find out here shortly that the Inteleon was actually scarfed itself, which was a really good bring by him, kind of nullifying the scarf on my Terrakion, but he doesn't really go for it. So we'll go ahead and get this match started. Okay, and like always, this is pre-recorded. The match has already taken place, and it is sped up just a little bit, as we do see the Morpeko and Inteleon lead. So I know he's probably going to fake out the Terrakion, and I'm pretty safe with the Dragapult with my Yache Berry. And this is when we found out that the Inteleon was actually scarfed during this move. I was running a calc to see how much the Inteleon and the Morpeko would actually take from the Dragapult. So I'm just going to lock myself into, I think it was Rock Slide and the Max Dragon. So here's the Max, of course, this long animation. And he's not maxing his Inteleon, which this is when I kind of found out it was either Scarf or Spec, but he does just fire off an Ice Beam, so my Yache Berry, and I don't really take too much in that exchange. And the Max Wormwind here is going to be able to take out the Morpeko. That thing would have been a threat to my Dragapult if I would let it get Aura Wheel going. So I figured it definitely was more of a threat than Inteleon. And Inteleon really can't kill my Dragapult unless it maxes. And not maxing there turn 1 let me kind of know that he doesn't really want to max the Inteleon. So I figured that I would just kind of ignore it, because I'm not going to die to another Ice Beam. Not even a Helping Hand Ice Beam. I do have a decent amount of HP investment this week. So I'm just going to fire a Steel move from the Terrakion and the Max Airstream. The Max Airstream is kind of important because then it would allow my Terrakion to start outspeeding the Scarf Inteleon. Also, the Dragapult would be able to outspeed it, which would be huge. So there goes the Airstream, and we knock out the Clefable. That thing could have been an issue. You'll see in Game 2 that it can do a lot of damage. So I believe his last Mon is the Weavile. And here I'm expecting another Fake Out. I have already locked myself into Iron Hand, so no big deal. I know it'll do a good amount to the Weavile. And I'm just going to try to get as much damage off on the Inteleon. Since he wasn't maxing it, I was actually expecting him to max the Weavile. Therefore, this Max Dragon would have ended up killing. So here he actually ends up maxing the Inteleon. So now the Scarf on the Inteleon doesn't really matter all too much. So I fire off the Iron Head, and it knocks Weavile down to Sash, which is good knowledge to know. Actually, I don't know if that did. I have my microphone in the way, but I know it's Sash, just from talking to him. Unfortunately, the Weavile does flinch. Overall, that's not going to matter too terribly much. So the Terrakion goes down, and I'm going to bring in Perrserker, and this is why it didn't really matter, because the Weavile probably would have knocked out the Dragapult, and then I would have just brought in Primarina, and I would be able to fake out and start hitting the Inteleon, and Differential is the only thing that really mattered with that flinch. So here I'm just going to fake out the Weavile and kill it. Dragapult is, of course, faster than the Inteleon. And that is going to do it for game 1. Go ahead and fast forward here a little bit. Going into game 2, I kind of changed up my lead just a little bit. I figured I would lead Perrserker, thinking that he would expect the Terrakion, because I thought he knew it was Scarf, but evidently he didn't, just because the Inteleon Scarf. So here, I'm expecting the fake out again, so it's no huge deal. But what I wasn't expecting was the Clefable to actually attack. So here, I was expecting a follow me. So I am just going to go for the Max Steel Wing into the Clefable, which ended up being the right call. Because of how much damage this is actually going to do. And Morpeko can't really do too terribly much. And I know I faked out, but like I said, I was expecting the fake out of on my Perrserker. So here I'm just maxing the Dragapult. All my Mons are shiny this week, by the way. I usually don't bring shiny Mons. And Morpeko here does just fake out the Perrserker. And then the Steel Spike comes out doing a really, really good chunk. I thought it was almost going to kill the Clefable. We get the defense boost, not too big of a deal, as Clefable really, really chunks my Dragapult, which is not good. So here I have a plan. I'm expecting the Morpeko to Aura Wheel into the Dragapult. So I am just going to Iron Head the Clefable while protecting the Dragapult. I figured this was the best play I could make. I don't think Morpeko could have killed Perrserker. So the Aura Wheel does end up going off into the Dragapult. And Iron Head here is going to be able to knock out the Clefable. So Perrserker is already doing a lot of work. Technically, this is the first week I've ever brought it, but it was in my original draft. It just didn't fit my team at the time, and now it honestly really does. And it does a lot of damage. If I was Steely Spirit this week, that Max Stealing probably would have killed the Clefable, but I am Tough Claws to try to get as much damage off with fake outs and stuff as possible. So I believe his next mon is going to be the Inteleon. Of course, it is Scarfed. And I'd still have my berry intact. And I know Inteleon can't actually kill me with an Ice Beam. Based on the damage from game 1, if it maxes, I kill it. If it doesn't max, it can't kill me. So this is why I'm doubling into it. And I know it probably can't protect. So there is the berry. I guess he expected it to kill, but I do live on 22%. Or 22 HP. So I do Airstream into the Inteleon. This is because I know the Morpeko is going to get the Aura Wheel speed boost. So I still need my Dragapult to be able to outspeed it. And there's the Aura Wheel, not doing incredible damage to the Perrserker. Perrserker is decently bulky from the physical side, and it also does have a boost from the Steel Wing into the Clefable. But Perrserker is able to pick up another KO into the Inteleon. Perrserker is really putting in work this game. Looking at the numbers, it actually ended up getting 5 kills, which was very unexpected. I just expected the Perrserker to kind of come in and be like a supportive role, but it really, really wasn't. And here, again, I'm kind of expecting the Morpeko to go into the Dragapult and the Virizion to launch a Max Fighting into the Perrserker, but I do have the Chople Berry. But he actually targeted the other way around, which I thought was decently smart. So there goes the Dragapult. I am just clicking Fly, and the Aura Wheel comes off into the Perrserker, and I live on 5. That actually wasn't a roll. I did calc it. He actually ended up getting a high roll, so Perrserker is able to just KO Morpeko. And this is pretty much game now. And I did end up winning 6-0. But my offense really, really put him in a bad spot. The Inteleon being Scarf was a really, really good bring. Here, the Airstream is just going to KO the Dragapult. And then Perrserker is going to pick up the 5th and final kill of the game. But he had a lot of the same options I did with the Virizion Weavile. Mine is the Terrakion Dragapult. He had Clefable. I have Clefairy. He has Morpeko. I have Rotom Heat. we just have a lot of the same options, but where my options were a little bit better is they hit a little bit harder. They're a little bit more bulky and utility-wise as well, and they're faster. So, anyway, GG to him. I am now on a 3-game win streak, which is huge for me after being on a 3-game lose streak. So, yeah, without further ado, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.